Hello everyone and welcome back to some more NASCAR Heat 5, where today, instead of actually looking at some gameplay or going through any of the custom championship series which I'm already running, we're actually going to be going over the rundown of the NASCAR Heat 5 July 21st patch notes. So this was just tweeted out by the official NASCAR Heat Twitter handle. If you would like to also read this on your own time, feel free. I will leave a link down to this article down in the description below and you can check that out and follow along. But really it is just a simple bullet pointed list of the additions, bug fixes, and even a few removals, which we will get to in the end, of what's going to be released tomorrow and or today, depending on when you're seeing this video, or I guess potentially in the past. But at least at the time that I'm recording this, it's the day before the patch comes out. So, you know, maybe there's a few minor tweaks that are going to happen between now and then. But getting started, we can look here and we can see that we're going to start off with the additions. So the first thing being added is Dale Earnhardt Jr. to the Xfinity Series, as you can see kind of in this little thumbnail picture they have up here. Of course, I'm pretty sure he was in the Xfinity Series in NASCAR Heat 4, but for some reason he wasn't in the game at the start in NASCAR Heat 5. Not really a big addition necessarily, I wouldn't say, because I mean, he's really only usually running one race per season in the Xfinity Series, and I feel like these games kind of have a bad habit of putting people that have only run a single race or maybe two races a season inside of the game when they could have put somebody in there that was actually racing, you know, more than half the season. But you know, Dale Earnhardt Jr. at the very least, they're not putting like a random fantasy driver in there. They are putting in a real driver, and you know, this can be pretty attractive to some people. We also have a Bubba Wallace Sunoco scheme. I don't know if he actually has a Sunoco scheme or if that's just something specific to the game. But I mean, hey, new paint schemes always welcome. I'm not sure if that's going to be specific to somebody that has the gold edition of the game, or if that's also going to be part of the free package of the game. We then have the 2020 revised schedule being added to championship mode. So if you would like to play the game as if you were actually living in 2020, don't know why you'd want to do that, but where you could actually play through the championship season as we've done now, where you have like a doubleheader at Darlington, at Charlotte, things like that, you can now do so. Because of course, obviously we are not following the originally planned schedule for the season. I don't exactly know specifically how this works because the entire season still hasn't yet been finalized. There are certain tracks that are still currently scheduled that the races are looking like they're probably going to be canceled. Also, we're adding the Daytona road course, which there's no chance that's being added to the game. At least I would probably assume so. If that gets added, that'd be pretty awesome, but I'm pretty sure it's not gonna be there. But if you would like to do this season, you now can. 2 new custom paint schemes. I don't really know specifically what that means. I'm pretty sure it's like the actual like default paint schemes on the like the ticker that you can go through when you're customizing your car. That could be pretty cool. Hopefully they're pretty decent. I know a lot of them are kind of mediocre, but you know, any kind of variety is welcome right now, especially since we don't have a full-on paint booth. But you know, NASCAR Heat 6, hopefully we get that then. And then also 3 new custom fonts. So I'm assuming that those custom fonts are for the actual numbers themselves, which I think is very much needed. I feel like a lot of the numbers in the game are either way too small or they just don't really fit in with the overall theme of the cars. So hopefully these 3 are pretty attractive, and if they are, who knows, maybe you'll see them in some of my custom paint schemes in the future. The next bullet point is then more logos in custom car and custom driver. I don't know exactly what that means. I feel like this is kind of, when they do these bullet pointed lists, it's kind of hard to tell exactly what they're talking about, but I'm assuming this means that when you're customizing your paint scheme or when you're customizing the sponsors that are on your custom driver, you now have different decals or different sponsors that weren't previously available. I don't know if they got rights to more actual sponsors or if maybe they put some more fantasy sponsors in there, but I mean, hey, it's a welcome addition, although it is pretty small, and it kind of begs the question as to why weren't these added when the game first came out. Below that, we then have new challenges. So of course, I've not done any challenges yet, but if you've already completed all of them up to now, you'll have some new ones to mess around with. So, you know, if you're into challenges in this game, go ahead. There's some more content for you to enjoy. And then finally, for the additions, we have the Team Penske ENHPL driver scheme. So that is the eNASCAR Heat Pro League. I'll be honest, I don't actually watch this. I think there's a long way to go before this game could really have any real handle on esports, if I'm being honest. But hey, that's kind of cool. Some of these guys that aren't like, you know, they're not in the official NASCAR series, you know, like Truck Series, Xfinity Series, or Cup Series. They're now in the game. I'm pretty sure these cars do have the numbers of the cars back on the rear quarter panel. So that is, you know, probably pretty decisive. But if you want something that's a bit different, stands out, and it's got a pretty professional paint scheme for the most part, you can now choose those and not necessarily feel like you're taking over, you know, Jimmy Johnson's ride or Bubba Wallace or Chase Elliott, any of those guys. You can play as someone that, you know, maybe you don't have a specific connection to, but it is kind of cool to see, you know, some of these other, you know, content creators and or just performers in the game being added. It's pretty cool. And then scrolling down, we have the bug fixes. So you can see here that we have an issue that caused users to be able to select Tony Stewart's scheme in career. So I'll be honest, I haven't touched the Dirt series in the career mode. So apparently that was a bug fix. Okay, that's okay. I guess they can remove that. Updated career. So DLC cash will work in full career. So apparently, and I didn't experience this because I haven't really messed around too much with the career yet. If you started the career in full career and you have the the bonus for getting like the gold edition, you didn't actually get the DLC cash, which was supposed to be part of that. At least for some people, it might be platform specific. I don't exactly know, which I'll be honest, I don't think cash is the biggest deal as part of the whole pre-order bonus, but it is nice for you to at least be able to get that since people did technically pay for it, Trophies that had outdated logos on them. So yes, I have actually noticed this. I think a lot of people have noticed this. And a lot of the celebrations in Victory Lane, you'll notice that the trophy for that specific track had NASCAR Heat 4 on, the front of it. But this is NASCAR Heat 5. That's a pretty big oversight. Basically, it means they just copied the files from NASCAR Heat 4 and didn't even update them, which, I mean, people kind of expect in this game, but that is kind of lazy. So at least they've gone ahead and fixed that. But again, something they probably should have noticed before the game came out. Adjusted DNF parameters. So this is something I think I might have briefly mentioned in one of my custom championship series episodes. Apparently, in order for you to actually DNF, and I'm pretty sure this can only occur in career mode, but I could be wrong about that, at least for the actual player, for the AI, they can DNF whenever. You basically had to go head on into the wall at full speed at like 200 miles an hour. And even then, sometimes it didn't make you DNF. So hopefully this makes it a bit more reasonable, or, maybe you do that twice, you're out, or, maybe even just once if they give us the option, make it like pretty realistic. I don't think they did that, but we'll have to actually wait and see. Hopefully they do kind of adjust this a bit, because otherwise the whole DNF feature that they advertised is kind of meaningless. And then for the biggest bug update / fix for this patch, at least for me, updated custom championship to allow all tracks in any series excluding dirt, which we all kind of already expected. So when I started my custom championship series, the idea was originally to add things like Iowa or Gateway or tracks like that the Cup Series doesn't traditionally drive on into the championship series. Unfortunately, we weren't able to do that because you were restricted to the only tracks that the series actually raced. This is what this patch is going to fix, in that now if I wanted to add Gateway or if I wanted to add Iowa, you can now do that. Unfortunately, I'm pretty sure I can't adjust the season midway through, so the current season that I have going on will stay that way. But I do have another idea in mind, so you can stay tuned for that, where we're going to have some sprint seasons in various series going at various tracks, and that could be, something to spice it up a bit. Also, obviously, I feel like none of us really expected the dirt cars to be able to race wherever we wanted, but, now that I've read it, don't you think it'd be pretty cool if they let us use the Extreme Dirt Tour cars at something like Talladega? I mean, it would be incredibly stupid, but it would be very entertaining for all of about 5 minutes. And to be honest, I don't think it would be too hard for them to just throw them in there, even if it's ridiculous. I don't think anybody's expecting it to be, flawless. I just think it'd be pretty fun, And then below that, we basically have a lot of, really minor things. Updated restart zone art at New Hampshire. I have not raced at New Hampshire yet in this game, so I guess that's a thing. Updated track art at the Charlotte Roval. I'm pretty sure this has to do with like sponsors and like year format and stuff like that. Updated victory scene background at Chicagoland. Why did I say battleground? Again, I have not raced at Chicagoland yet in this game, so for all I know, this could have not changed, and I would never build another difference. And then they have a bunch of text issues, so I'm pretty sure this just refers to, various typos they had, or maybe references to like NASCAR Heat 5 or Heat 4, once again. Even I'm getting them confused, but the developers probably got them confused as well. Updated incorrect driver names. I'm not sure what this is referencing. I'm wondering if there's like a mismatch between the number and the driver sometimes, or maybe, they let old he who shall not be named himself, Kyle Larson, maybe snuck into one of these files or something, but I don't exactly know what this is referring to. Fixed mismatching online custom car numbers. Again, I have not really played online just yet, but I assume this has to do with the actual numbers not matching up with the actual number you're specifically using. Probably to do with the minimap or maybe the race results. Probably a pretty small bug fix, but it's good to see them get that knocked out. Updated Kyle Busch's Xfinity pit equipment. I'm assuming the pit crew just wasn't wearing the right colors or something, or maybe it looked kind of weird. Just speaking about that, I have not actually seen anything here that refers to the tire colors. So you've probably noticed if you've been watching some of my previous videos, or maybe some other content creators' videos, that if you have a custom paint scheme, for example, the one I'm using currently in career mode has it depends on what episode is actually out before this one, has white rims, but when it's racing, it's yellow because for some reason the game just defaults to some color like that. They haven't mentioned anything about that here, but I'm wondering if that refers to, something down here regarding like drivers' paint schemes or whatever. But that is pretty annoying, and it's pretty apparent because it's, blatantly there and it doesn't stick out, or does stick out like a sore thumb. And then we have updated certain ENHPL. That's a really weird acronym, Pro League driver photos, that's cool. Updated dirt track Taggart to Fanatec Fairgrounds. I keep pronouncing this as Fanatec. I'm pretty sure it's supposed to be Fanatic, but there's another, sort of gaming thing out there, Fanatic, FNATIC, so I just call this Fanatec. Either way, it's fine. Obviously, this is a fantasy track, so they can name it after whatever. I'm sure Fanatec or Fanatic, whatever, probably paid a few dollars for them to rename this in this game. They also have some in-game sponsorships during some of the loading screens. I think it's kind of cool. It's a bit more legitimate, maybe, having some kind of racetrack named after a sponsor, as opposed to this just completely made-up name that they've been using for the last few years. We then have updated drivers' paint schemes. I'm not sure if this is anything in specific. I'm pretty sure that this is referring to, there were certain paint schemes that I'm pretty sure were missing for certain drivers when the game first came out. I don't think this has to do with the actual custom paint schemes because that's referred to up here. I'm pretty sure this is like, oh, hey, somebody's got a paint scheme they ran like late last year that was supposed to be in the game. They didn't add it. This probably adds it. Again, I'm not sure if this necessarily applies to everybody or if you have to have the gold edition of the game, because I know that does include like various paint schemes that they add over the course of the game. But I'm not entirely sure how many of those paint schemes they plan on adding, considering I'm pretty sure a lot of their time is going to be invested in developing NASCAR Heat 6. Updated incorrect truck series team descriptions. So I have not actually noticed this, but in my own time I have started the career mode, and when I started it, I did start off in the truck series. I'm pretty sure this refers to, when you read the small little description for each truck team, maybe they had the wrong one, coordinated to a specific team, or maybe there was just flat out wrong information there. Small minor fix. Honestly, this is probably just them going in and updating like a text file or something. Updated logos in dirt career. Again, don't know exactly what this is referring to. It's probably updating the sponsorships that they have up on the billboards around the track. And then finally, for the bug fixes, updated driver select categories. I actually don't know exactly what this means. I feel like this is when you're actually selecting your driver for a specific race, but I don't know exactly what categories means. I don't know if there's something there that I'm not noticing, but it's probably not a huge deal, or else I would probably know what this is just by reading it. And then heading down to the bottom, we have a small little header here for removed items, which is not something you generally see a whole lot in patch notes, but we're going to go ahead and go over these. So the first thing they've done is they've removed the Motorious and Speed Digital logos, and they've been replaced with the 704 Games logos. So I don't know if this was for like a licensing issue or, some other legal issue, but I do remember that in NASCAR Heat 4, at least when I briefly played like part of my career mode, I used the Motorious sponsor on the hood just because I thought it looked pretty cool. It looked pretty modern, and it matched a whole bunch of other various paint schemes, especially if you did like a black and orange or some kind of other paint scheme which matched either format of the logo. But, we can't use those anymore. Kind of unfortunate, but they have added new paint schemes to the game, so maybe you can kind of compensate them removing certain sponsors without having other paint schemes to make your car still look pretty cool. And then finally, they have removed the spectator ticker because it's undergoing QA. I personally have not used this. I'm pretty sure this is just for either online or it might be part of the Pro League. I don't know. The fact that it apparently didn't undergo QA before the game came out, kind of concerning, but you do you, not a big deal at the end of the day. But that is all I have for you guys today regarding the July 21st patch notes. Again, these do come out on July 21st, obviously, as the name implies. That's either today or tomorrow, depending on when this video goes live, or, sometime in the past if you've somehow stumbled upon this video, 3 years in the future. Hello, how is 2023? Hopefully it's better than 2020. Anyways, I hope you guys have enjoyed. Please let me know down in the comments below what you think about this patch. Do you think it's going to redeem some of the qualities that a lot of people have been complaining about in this game? I personally think it'll add a lot of things that probably should have been added when the game first came out, which does kind of redeem the game a little bit, but I think there's still plenty of work yet to be done, especially because there's some bugs that I've noticed that aren't specifically referenced in this. Maybe they just forgot to put them in this patch notes, or maybe they're still working on them. But anyways, I hope you guys have enjoyed. If you are new around here and you have enjoyed, please consider leaving a like and subscribing so you can be notified whenever I upload new content in the future. And yeah, hope you guys have a good rest of your day, and I'll see you all in the next one.